Yo, JD here, Limitless, and I'm so happy to finally say that this is the first league race on F1 2019, and these are the videos I love to make. These are the part of the game, this is the part of the game I am most passionate about, is racing in leagues, and this is the first one of the season in Inside Line Racing League, which is IOR. This is round 1 at Australia, and you may have seen from my last video before of the qualifying app I did, but the start of the session wasn't feeling comfortable at all, having a spin on the first attempt, my first run attempt. And coming into this race, couldn't prepare as much as I would have liked really at all because of other commitments I've got going on at the moment with Renner Esports and work or just general life itself. But coming across the line, we did a 19.8 for our actual first time lap, and again did another 19.8. But coming into the final one now, I knew this was all or nothing. In practice, I was actually shocked at what my pace was compared to the competition. I didn't expect it to be this strong at all. So let's talk through the lap. Going into turn 1, braking just after that back box, really swinging the car, gave it absolute full commitment on this lap. Really left nothing on the table here. Couldn't have really done too much more. Maybe a tenth or 2 tenths on a perfect one, but braking super late into his second gear, third gear, holding it in third gear through here. What I like to do, short shifting on the exit, completely flat out. I almost lost the car going through that corner, and now at the end of sector 1 going purple, so I knew it was a really good lap so far. Millimeters on the edge of the track here, and as I was saying, I could feel it was a good one. But coming into this corner, went in deep into this corner, that was a mistake. I should have been a little bit more towards the inside apex, so definitely lost about half a tenth or maybe even tenth going through there. This sequence though, absolutely throwing, slow in middle of the track and then full commitment going to here, keeping it within the limits of the track. Not a purple sector but a green one. Going to this last sector now, absolutely throwing the car, leaving nothing on the table, actually clipping the grass, which probably cost me a little bit of time. And I knew going to this last sector, particularly this corner, I made a mistake on my previous lap. And going for the last corner now, got a little bit of understeer from the car in front, which is actually my teammate, again using all the track, getting a little bit of a slipstream, coming across the line. And yeah, you can see how happy I was. Did get a little slipstream from Rosberg, but if you actually watch the Delta, it was literally 200ths of a second slipstream, so it still would have been enough for pole. And yeah, I just couldn't believe that I managed to pull that lap out of the bag. I was really surprised. My PB going into it was an 8. I kept on hitting an 8, but it was my race pace in the dry that was particularly strong against my competition that surprised everyone else. I was feeling really confident for that, but as you can see, we're not starting a dry race. It's actually intermediate conditions, and this is not really what I was hoping for, because I'd done 0 wet running, not only on this track but on this patch. I haven't done any wet running, and just wet driving in general, I just really haven't done that. And to be fair, I think most drivers don't really practice the wet that often, but yeah, I was particularly nervous because, or particularly anxious now, because I managed to get myself in pole position, and I was kind of kicking myself that I wish I just did a lap at least. But as I said, I think a lot of drivers are in the same position as me, so you just got to get on with it. But so far so good. Really coming to the season to try and work on my weaknesses, which was qualifying last season, and we're off to a perfect start so far. So waiting for everyone to get on the back of the grid, and let's see when the lights are coming on now, which they should be. So we've got 1, 2, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Waiting for them to go out, leaving it in standard and high, not going to that because I don't want to get another wheel spin. Get a decent-ish start, but surprise, gets a really good start. Trying to go around the outside of him now, which we just about banging wheels here, and still holding the lead, but almost losing the car, just having no control at this point. And we actually lost out to Siren inside. And at this point, I thought, you know what, we've got a long race, no point really fighting this. But going to this corner, we've actually been spun round, and it's gone from an almost perfect start, and we're now completely dead last. And you can see by my reaction, whoa, I didn't really react, and my tyres are just completely overheated now. But I just couldn't believe what happened there. You can see no control, tyres are about 1,000 degrees after spinning like that. And we're going to go on board with Snazzy Evening, who we've got a point of view from him. And let's see what happens here. He brakes quite late. Him and Joe make a little bit of contact. I think it's a ricochet effect. And honestly, I don't really know who's to blame there. I think that's just a very unfortunate thing. But going back to me now, at the end of the first lap, we actually spin as well. So this lap, or this session, has gone from an absolute dream for being on pole to now being in last by, I don't even know how many seconds. We're going to be able to see as we're going across the line now. And yeah, 11.9 seconds off 18th place. And that spin there was, as I said, it was just a combination. My tyres were still so overheated. If you spin in this game, your tyres take almost a lap to recover. And in the wet as well, a combo of that, it wasn't a good combination. But a couple of people pitted, I think, for damage or something, to about 10 seconds behind now the next car. And you can see coming off this corner, at this point I had just had zero confidence, absolutely no confidence in the wet here. And we're coming up behind Joe Paulo now. I think, again, I don't know if he's got damage or something, so we're making up a few positions as people just being injured, coming back to the pits pretty much. And coming across line P15, let's see what the gap is now. And the gap ahead is 11.1 seconds, and the gap to my teammate was 16 seconds. But coming across the line now, 10.1 seconds now, and starting by lap, slowly and slowly, I started to get used to the wet. Someone else, MPV0, is actually pitted now, and let's see what the gap is to Carl Mitchell. It's 9 seconds, and getting faster and faster each lap. And as I said, just getting used to conditions, and I was just kicking myself because I just thought, what could have been if I could have just got a good start. We can see gaining a lot of time on the guys ahead. It's only really the leaders, I think, Surprise and Syra, who are the only guys who are quicker than me at this point. We're closing very, very quickly. As Carl Mitchell actually pit that lap as well. And I can confirm it's actually starting to turn a little bit dry now. The rain's meant to be easing off. Still got a reasonable amount of tyre wear left. Let's see what the gap is. We made it up into 12th now, and it's 8.5 seconds behind EVR Reynolds. You can see being more confident each time as my teammate is going to the pits, because I can confirm it is now really the time for dry tyres. I think some people have continued, but really I've just got to do the maximum I can and just take anything I can at this point. So we're going to go into the pits. We're going to take a little bit of a risk because I don't think DRS has been enabled just yet. Coming to the pit box, my teammates only just left, so my pit crew, you can see they're still getting my tyres ready, and they weren't ready for me instantly. They can see 3.9 being held a little bit longer there, so I think we lost a good 2.5, maybe even 3 seconds in that pit stop compared to a normal one. And let's see where we're going to come out now. Still in 12th place, we've got CRG Zelchi coming out now, who's on the medium tyre. We've gone on the hard tyre, and he's actually got out ahead of me, but he's gone in deep, gone on the grass, and we're going to go around the outside of him back into 12th place now. But I decided to go on the hard tyre because I knew you'd be sliding around quite a lot on the mediums, and in practice mediums you really had to be going at the end of lap 11 in pure dry conditions to make it just about make it to the end of the race. And you can see the track is not fully dry yet, squirming around quite a bit, and that's why I went in the hards, because I knew I'd guaranteed to get to the end. And I knew I'd really be suffering at the beginning. But as I said, since you'd be sliding around quite a lot in these conditions, I think the wear would be much, much worse than normal. But you can see, going purple in this last sector, so the track is slowly starting to come to me. And as we saw in qualifying as well, I felt in the dry conditions, I felt super, super strong right here. Probably the strongest I've ever felt around Australia in the dry before. But we're coming under attack from Zelchi, who's actually set the quickest lap of the race behind me. So the medium tyres are still probably the faster tyre at this point. But I just have to really wait for them to wear out another few laps. And that's when the hards should really start to take over. But we actually come under attack from CRG Zelchi. And as I learned from last season, I'm really making an effort to defend my positions, just not to let him go. Because if I let him go, he probably would hold me up after another 2 laps, and my tyres would probably start to take over. So really just defending my positions, learning from my mistakes last season, coming through into here now. And let's see what happens here. We almost lose the car on the exit, which gives him another run as the track is drying out lap by lap here. He's going around the outside, but we'll say no. Braking late, holding our position here. P&R Brown setting the fastest lap. So the track is improving by a good second or so a lap at this point. Going out wide here, he tries to go around the outside of me. We cover the line quite nicely. But this is costing us time. And the gap in front to EVR Reynolds, I think, is about 5 or so seconds at this point. He's on the mediums as well. So we really need to just try and get up at his DRS zone. If we can do that, then I think we've got a good chance of potentially catching some cars, because we're not even in the points at this point in the race. But a good recovery so far. And again, just trying to keep him behind as long as possible. But we're going to have to go semi-defensive. Don't want to run the risk. And see, really being aggressive with the wheel, just trying to heat up my tyres. That's pretty much why I was overturning there. Just trying to heat them up as much as possible. And you can see, maximise it through the long speed corners. We almost lose the car once again. So getting more confident each lap, but almost ending my race just in that moment. And you can see the gap is about 5 seconds between me and EVR Reynolds now. But coming around the last corner, we've actually started to pull away now from Zelchi, and coming across the line, we have actually set the quickest lap of the race. The gap is still 5.1 seconds, but now I was starting to feel really confident and showing the pace that I felt
Guys are coming to me now.
I could have shown if it was a full dry race. I think if it was a full dry race, I think I would have been, I felt like I had a really good chance of trying to win this race if I did that. But you can see, coming across the line here, making up some more time again, dropping Zelchi out of the DRS zone, which is very crucial because we don't want to be involved in the battle here. And you can see lap by lap, just getting more and more confident. Coming across this last corner, EVR Reynolds, the mediums are still going pretty quick. Let's see what time we do this time. It's a 25.9, the purple last sector. Let's see what the gap is going to be now. You can see gradually pulling away from Zelchi behind. And the gap, as we do a 25.0, the fastest lap of the race, 4.2 seconds. So it was 5 seconds a few laps ago. And now the hard tyres are really starting to take over. So I was glad I made this decision. As we move on to lap 23 now, you can see no real threat from behind. I've actually caught some cars in front of me now, so the points look like it is possible. And considering what happened to me on the first lap and the end of the first lap, I would be taking any points at this point in the race. And we've got Jam Pancakes 44, which is a pretty cool name in front. And he's on the medium tyre as well, or the hard tyre as well. So he's on the same compounder. So we've managed to catch him from this distance. And I think it's Reynolds and then another car just ahead of it. And my teammate, we were 16 seconds behind. He went on the mediums and we've started to catch him as well. And yeah, I think my engineer just saying, got to go mix 2 because you can see the fuel as well. Haven't got much fuel, haven't got much ERS, so we really got to play this as efficiently as possible now. And then my mind here, I could see my teammate in the distance and another car ahead of him. I thought, if there's a chance of some points here, I need to overtake these guys as much as possible because I really want to create as much damage limitation after just that first lap what happened here. Coming off this exit now, Jam Pancakes gets a very bad exit, so we're going to go around the outside using the max rich, max hot lap and overtake. Going round the outside into this right hander, he leaves me room on the outside, and that is the move into 10th place in the points paying position. Now we've got to defend this inside, but we're using hot lap. The setup I was using, the car was pretty quick in the straight line, so wasn't really fearing any risk of him really repaying the favour there. Into 10th place now, and now we've got a sight that you can see some cars ahead. The blue car, I think the Mercedes there, is not even that far away as well, so there's still an opportunity to make up 3 or 4, maybe even 5 positions, because we are on the best tyre coming into this last lap. You can see EVR Reynolds, as I said, was about 5 seconds behind him, and now we've closed up on him very quickly here. So let's see how quickly we can get past him, because the sooner I can get past him, the sooner I can get onto the guy's head. It was just set a purple last sector, which is confirming again the pace in the dry here. I haven't felt this good on a wheel ever, and I definitely think I put a lot of work in before this, and I think just my experience last season on the wheel where I came second in this league, I think really has helped me. I learned a lot of things, learned to be aggressive when I needed to be, and I'm really looking forward to the season of really what I can do, and really still trying to go for this championship, because it is a 20 race odd championship, so we've still got plenty of races to go, but there's still an opportunity to still get some really good points, making a really good run into this corner, same corner, but on the inside this time we actually clip the back wheel of Reynolds, but actually almost caused me into a spin, and we've lost the position again to Jam Pancakes. So again, that wasn't his fault. I think looking back in it now, I probably should have waited to the straight there, a little bit ambitious trying to go down the inside there, and now I'm trying to get onto the back of Jam Pancakes. He's got the DRS on Reynolds as well, so he goes defensive. We're going to go round the outside this time. He holds the racing line, pushes me wide, although I'm raising my hand there, that was a completely fair move from him. He used a racing line and he's completely entitled to do that. And just a disclaimer, when I get annoyed in league racing, if you watch me on stream, just to remind you, it is in the moment. So I think a lot of people probably get angry in the moment, but after the race, when I look back, I realise sometimes you do overreact a little bit as well. But trying to get back past Jam Pancakes, get almost losing the car, snap of oversteer again, could have gone to the barrier, ended the race. Moving into chicane once again, trying to get as close to him as possible here. He's still got DRS and Reynolds, which is really hurting me a bit, because if he didn't have DRS, we would still have a good opportunity going through to here. He goes a little bit wide. This corner in particular, always got a really good exit off here. He goes in really, really deep. Actually goes on the grass a bit, so he'll go around the outside of him this time, banging wheels there, but he leaves me just enough room. Have to accelerate on that curb, turning, making a bit more contact once again, but he still has DRS on Reynolds, which again is hurting me, because it should be quite an easy move down the straight, going to the inside, but he actually doesn't go defensive, locking up slightly from myself, and just through that dirty air, very, very hard to get on the power there. And now moving towards the end of lap 27 again, and a car has gone off and a Renault has gone off, and that is Feisty Ted. And I think I also missed as well, EVR Reynolds actually went off a couple of laps ago, which we've got as we've locked up now. So that's 2 positions we made up, so we're now into 9th place, and we've actually lost a bit of time because we locked up into that penultimate corner, and we've only got 2 laps of the race to go. So if we want to try and get into 8th place, maybe even 7th, because you see the Toro Rosso is not far ahead, we could still get some good points here. Going to this penultimate corner, I really enjoy braking late into that corner. I found a lot of time braking, particularly late into that corner. Starting the last lap now, it's all or nothing. Looks like it's going to be 8th place. It's going to be really the maximum we can do here. Going through turn 1, as I said, very, very difficult to get on traction out of here because of the dirty air and that curb on the exit as well. Definitely don't want to run it too much. But you've hardly got any fuel or ERS left again here. Trying to go on the back of him as much as possible, as our teammate is not far up in the distance. As I said, he was 16 seconds before, but on those medium tyres, the medium tyres are pretty much melted as Jam Pancakes goes on the grass now. And we're going to try and get a good launch off here. Wasn't really thinking of doing the move this time. Really was just trying to make him defend as much as possible. Going back into no ERS, just trying to save it for this last sector. And now try and unleash the power as much as possible. But he gets a very good exit though, to be fair to him. No real opportunity to overtake as Veloce Surprise wins the race now. Going through the chicane here. Trying to get a good exit, which we don't get an amazing exit. But with the hot lap and Rich, he's going defensive. We're going to try to move round the outside once again. Trying to be alongside, but it's a repeat before. And as I said, get angry in the stream sometimes, but Jam Pancakes did absolutely nothing wrong there. Watching after the race, I apologised to him myself and said that was good racing. He was fully entitled to the racing line. We're coming across the line now. And yeah, obviously very, very disappointed because I started on pole. And if it was in dry conditions, I felt I definitely had a very good chance of winning this race. But it just shows you've got to prepare in all conditions and wet conditions. I think if we didn't have that incident at the start, I think we still could have been in a position to even still win this race as well, because the wet pace towards the end of the stint was very, very good. And the dry pace at the end was extremely good as well. But just unfortunate. Don't really know whose fault that was. Let me know who you thought in the comments down below. But thank you so much for supporting this video. I can confirm I actually came in 8th place in this race because someone actually had a penalty in front of me after the race given by the steward. So came 8th place in this race. But positives to take as the pace seems to be very, very strong this season on this new game. Next track is Bahrain, which is going to be streamed on Friday. So make sure you support me for that or stay tuned for that if you like to. Again, thank you as always, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.